All right, students, I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of a home setup for drawing. There are a few things that you're going to need to be able to put together. You can just do this with the sort of things you have around your house. All it takes is a couple of chairs, one to act as your easel and one to sit in. Notice I've taped off the chair in the back. I've marked its legs on the floor, and that way I make sure that it's always in the same spot when I go to work. The idea is that as a draftsperson, I am a recording tool. And when I look at my subject matter, I want to make sure that my head is pretty much in the same place at all times. That becomes important, especially when we're doing sighting, because you can't be wiggling all over the place looking at the objects from different points of view. It wouldn't work, just like a camera can't take a picture from multiple points of view and have it be anything but a blurry mess. Okay, down here, we have this is just simply some drawer liner that's kind of grippy, helps keep this from sliding around, keeps it up in the vertical position. I have a drawing board, but you can always scrounge up some kind of piece of plywood. As long as you can get these little clips, that'll do, and that will hold your drawing pad or paper to the plywood. Now I've placed my drawing space, my work area, about 4 to 6 feet distance from my subject matter. When we do sighting, we're going to be drawing boxes, so I have this little box set up here for our demo. And I put it on a white sheet, that way I can see clearly all the cast shadows that are being projected onto the ground. In the background, I've covered up the windows with blankets. I just tacked them up there, and that's to take out the sunlight. Sunlight really doesn't help us. It floods the room with excess light, and the sun's position changes all the time. So it doesn't give us very good control over this sort of light and shadow that happens on our subject matter. So instead, you're gonna have to use something like a clip-on desk lamp, or even just clip-on shop lights, anything that you can scrounge up, place it in a position so you get strong contrast in your light and shadows. Not so much important in gesture drawing and sighting, but it will become increasingly important once we start getting into the use of value. And in the back of the room, this is an easel, but you can easily put a clip-on light on the back of a chair, just some sort of extra light. This one's pointing up in the ceiling. The point is it bounces off the ceiling and kind of backlights the room. That way that my work surface, my drawing paper, is lit up, and I don't have to worry about that extra light casting undue shadows on my subject matter. So just to give you a little bit, let me put this down. Just see. Give you an idea how this works. Now that I can get into position, I'm gonna have to straddle these chairs a little bit. Got my drawing pencils here. Our next project's gonna be in graphite, so I have several graphite pencils. My Faber-Castell dust-free eraser, that works really good with graphite. And I actually just have a kebab stick, which I'm going to use for sighting, but you could also use a pencil in your offhand. So when you draw, typically you want to have 2 pencils at all times, one in your offhand, one with your drawing hand. And the reason is, when we get to sighting, that's coming up next week, you're going to want to be able to take accurate measurements. And to do that, you close one eye, hold your arms straight out. You've seen artists do this before. And you lock your elbow. Very critical that this part is totally locked. And the reason is because if it's not locked, you'll get false readings. The measurement that you see here compared to what you're looking at is going to be incorrect. So if you keep it locked at all times, this measurement will correspond to all the different things that you're looking at over here in your subject matter. And when I make those measurements, I'll take them over here and record them. I'll show you how that works once we get to sighting next week. But again, let's start putting our drawing pads vertically. It's much better to drawing, gives you a lot freer and bigger range in working. You can move your entire arm and not just draw with your wrist. You can really fill up the page, and the information that you're taking in translates much, much nicer to a surface that you're looking at in this position, perpendicular to your line of sight, just like that is perpendicular to your line of sight. And of course, this probably goes without saying, make sure that your work drawing area like this doesn't obscure what you're looking at over here. Obviously, you don't want to be drawing something that you can't see. You want to be able to have a clear line of sight to both the drawing space and the subject matter over there. Okay.